basketball analysis with over 70 years combined experience. This is the Bob Ryan and Jeff Goodman podcast.
NBA, some college, a little bit of everything.
You know, what can I say? But it wasn't going to happen here with him.
You're listening to the Bob Ryan and Gary Tanguay podcast, a proud member of the CLNS Media Network. The show is brought to you by PrizePicks, North America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Download today. Use code CLNS to get $50 when you play PrizePicks. Run your game. Going to change things up a little bit today. As you know, if you are a patron of this podcast, Bob Ryan is as much a baseball fan as he is a basketball fan. As a matter of fact, it was his first love down there in the lands of Jersey. So, Bob, let's just get your thoughts on the Red Sox season. Coming into this season and at the beginning of the season, what were you thinking?
I was curious. I knew there was some possibility. We kept hearing about the great young players, Anthony, Meyer, Campbell. And so I was curious about that. Obviously, Crochet had us all excited, the possibilities of what he might be. He was brought here to be an ace. They thought he has the makings of an ace. And, the Story and Bregman, etc. And, there were people. So I don't want them ever playing nobody just thought we could do anything with the disrespect card, because there were actually people who picked them to win the AL East.
Right.
I wasn't among them, but I thought it could be a decent season. Well, we know what a roller coaster it was. Terrible start and doom and gloom, no question, pervaded all of New England. And then they had the 10-game winning streak in July. Changed everything. Changed the atmosphere. Changed the standings naturally, and we got to see. But a lot of it was propelled by Roman Anthony, and he looks like he's a keeper boy. Now I got to go back a minute. The American League rookie player of the month in April and May was Christian Campbell, and we were excited about him. And he fell right on his face, and was shipped out, and did not really make great progress apparently in Worcester. So I don't know what the future holds for him. He was supposed to be the second baseman. But, Meyer I think they still have Marcelo Meyer penciled in as that second baseman. But then again, no. So they've got, I think, some good, talented, exciting young players. Then in the middle of the season or 2/3 of the way, and even later in case of one of them, we were presented with two young pitching prospects, Peyton Toll and Connolly Early. And they're at the best outings that we saw, they were very impressive. And I think they gave us great hope that there's a couple of rotation mainstays that they've actually developed. Traditionally, going back to 1967, the Red Sox have been really derelict in developing starting pitching. Some of the best pitchers they've gotten were over the years were, as my mother would say, store-bought. They were imports. Now, exceptions, Roger Clemens was ours, and Lonborg was ours. But Pedro was certainly not ours. That was a great deal by Dan Duquette, et cetera. So, and Schilling, that core. So now it's Crochet. He's not ours. The White Sox developed him. So if they have actually come around to developing, we developed Beckett. I'll give that, and not too many. So this is a really.
You think we developed Beckett? Did we get him from Florida?
Oh my God, I'm sorry. That was, of course.
You're thinking Lester.
That was Ben Carrington. Thank you very much. Of course we did. We didn't develop him. We developed somebody.
Lester.
Buchholz and Lester.
Buchholz, Lester, and Papelbon.
And Pap as a reliever, but that's a reliever. Sorry, yeah, very, very good though, right, Pap. Well, anyway. It's different teams. Other teams have been better at it. Anyway, these kids I'm excited about them. I'm excited. And if you look at the team, look at these good young players we have. Meyer, Anthony, who will be playing next season. Anthony will play next season at 23. Okay. Rafaela, who's still 26. Abreu, who's still 20, will be 27 next year. And don't forget one other, Tristan Casas. I have great hopes for Tristan Casas. He's young. So we've got a good young player. We've got young players, and I mentioned Abreu, that I think would be coveted by other people. So there's a good core here, I think, a good core of young players. The big questions in the offseason, of course, are the two primary free agents, Alex Bregman and Giolito. And so Bregman, he likes it here. I think he's professed to like it here. I think he likes Cora. I think he likes these kids. But, somebody could dangle a major ball in front of him. He could be an adjunct to a contender. He could be the missing piece for a contender somewhere. And so there's going to be a market for him. And he's been non-committal. Of course, Story's still going to be here. Good. And and one other good young player, relatively speaking, well, Narvaez. Now, I was aware of his existence as a Yankee backup. And when they got him, I certainly went, and he turned out to be a real keeper. And so I'm really pleased with him. He led the American League, I don't know about all of baseball, throwing out runners. He has a good bat. He's a catcher so that we can rely on. Really happy about that. And then, there's a lot of pitching question marks. We had so many injuries to Crawfords of the world that went down. Will we ever get anything out of Tanner Houck? I don't know. Again. So, but all in all, sum it up. You should be pleased if you're a fan with the way it ended. They gave you a run in August and September. They made life interesting. They're exciting players like Duran. By Duran's older than you think, older than you wish. He's 30 next year, unfortunately. And a player who depends on speed, is not. They go quicker than power guys.
Okay, we'll get back to Bob in just a minute, but want to remind you that PrizePicks is the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. With millions of members, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. And cash in on football season with PrizePicks. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players up from the field to the PrizePicks lineup. Whether it's touchdowns, receptions, completions, interceptions, tackles, take a pick, more or less, for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. PrizePicks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up right now. Don't forget, every Tuesday, PrizePicks will discount several projections on the board, usually by 15 to 25%. So, for example, Jake Ferguson, more or less than 5 receptions. Jalen Hurts, more or less than 2 touchdown passes. So make your play, more or less, and get ready to win with PrizePicks. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game. If you want to go see a game, Gametime. Think of the name, Gametime. You just go to your phone. It's got the big G on the app. You can load it. I have it on my phone. And you customize the app to wherever you happen to live. If you're in Texas, you can just, what's going on in Texas, especially college football. You want some college football tickets, looking for good deals. Hey, if you're in New England, obviously you'll be looking at professional. You'll be looking at college games, some great deals. Plus, before you know it, the NBA and NHL season is going to be cooking here. So Gametime is the place to find the best seats. And it's so easy to shop. Listen, it's expensive to take your family to a game. Are you kidding me? And the fees are always included. So what you see is what you pay. And again, it's incredibly easy. Download the app with the G, Gametime, boom, and then you set up to fit you. Just set it up to fit you, and you just put where you want to go. They have zone deals. You can choose a section and let Gametime choose the seats. You can always get a seat view, panoramic view of the seats you're buying before you actually buy, and your purchase is covered by the most reliable, flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So it's as simple as that. Gametime. Take the guesswork out of buying your tickets with Gametime. College football season, perfect time to do it. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Gametime app today. For those of you listening to the show, we ask that you subscribe to the podcast, like and leave a review. And for those watching the show on CLNS, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to the Celtics All Access YouTube channel, where you find our show and a lot of other great Celtics content. Please make sure to tune on your notifications so you know the instant a new video drops.
Oh, one other thing I should mention. They need a true first baseman. They need a true first baseman. And there's one out there maybe that we'll see what happens. Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso's a free agent, and he's a mediocre glove. You know, he ain't going to win you any Gold Glove. But you imagine Pete Alonso in Fenway, the polar bear. Now I'm not saying there's any remote. There's a remote. There is at least a remote chance they could get involved. You know,
saying there's a chance.
We'll hear. My prediction is we'll hear that they did get involved. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but will they?
We'll hear that they did. You know, whether they did or didn't, we'll hear that they did because that's kind of the MO around here. But all in all, I think Craig Breslow, who we would give a C plus at best or it's C minus in May, looked very good in September. You know, look at some of the people that the moves he made, and some of the moves he has made. You know, we gotten useful contributions out of the Remy Gonzalez's of the world, and one other guy. Is Yoshida finally going to give us a full season of look the way he did in September? Yoshida was, you know, suddenly this is the guy they paid for. I mean, God knows he was a drain on the payroll, and people warned them that they were overpaying for him when they got him. There was a lot of skepticism in the industry when they signed Yoshida, but he suddenly looked good in September and in the playoffs. So I don't know what his role was. People talk about they have a glut of outfielders. Yeah, they do. But they're tradable. I think they're players that people would want. So they're sitting in a reasonably good position for next year. I'm excited. And then of course, you know, so that's that. I give them.
What do you? So let's get to the series.
Yes.
Your thoughts on the Yankees series?
Well, they didn't hit even when they won. They barely hit, and the bats fell silent. They were after game one. I mean, after game one, I warned people in my circle, don't get giddy. Don't get giddy after winning that first game. Remember Yogi's Law. You know what that is?
No.
It ain't over till it's over.
Oh, that I'm sure.
That
yes.
He has several laws, but that's one of them. Okay?
I thought there was another one.
Well, I'm going to get to the second one. And I felt, you know, and game two is a coulda, shoulda, woulda game. You know, they fumbling defense. If Lowe catches that bounder, they get out of that inning, and maybe Yankees. They didn't knock the kid around. I mean, they didn't knock anybody around that game. But that was a crucial play. They hurt themselves in that game. That was a regrettable game. There's no question. That was painful.
Right.
And then in game three, hail to Cam Schlittler. I mean, you what do you say? The kid pitched an historic game, the first rookie to strike out 12 walk, none, and 8 shutout innings in a postseason. And of course, I don't know. I always talk about the misuse of the word irony. I'm not even sure how to use it myself.
No, that applies.
Whatever. The fact is that they were beaten by the kid from Walpole, Massachusetts,
right,
who went to Northeastern, and and rooted for the Red Sox. Unlike Ben Rice, who we learned down there in Cohasset, grew up as a staunch Yankee fan. And I have a friend that grew up in Norwood who was a staunch Yankee fan too. So anyway, Schlittler, hey, he had it. He was terrific.
Well, didn't you have the feeling after game two that was their chance?
Yeah, no question.
And they had a number of chances.
It depends on your general attitude. I'm satisfied. I'm not saying I'm pleased, I mean, I'm satisfied. They did a lot of good things, and there's hope. That's the big thing, folks. They came out of this with hope.
Right.
We got a lot of hope, and I'm so.
Bob, what's the environment like at Fenway?
Well, I was there for the clinching game against Detroit, last Friday night, and it was one of those great electric nights. It was wonderful. For me, it was the best night in the ballpark since that Yankee wild card game in 2021, which is one of the all-time nights of buzz and excitement. That's the gold standard right now of buzz. But it was really good last Friday night. And Rafaela, the way it ended, think about it. They were down 3-1. They got a single run in the 7th, a single run in the 8th, and then in the bottom of the 9th, they get they get the guy on base, and Rafaela hits the ball off the center field wall. Come on. And I love that kid. And now, by the way, one thing I will say, whatever else they do, they got to keep him in center field. Now, he may win a Gold Glove this year. I don't know. I have no idea. The Gold Glove has gotten crazy but he's deserving of one, as are some other people in the world. I know that. But he's a Gold Glove level center fielder right now. And they got to keep him in center, whatever else they do, however else they configure.
It seems that they're very fortunate, in my opinion, to have kept Alex Cora around, or the fact that Alex Cora has kept them around. I
am in the fan club. I'm a regional officer of the fan club. Absolutely, he's one of the we're very lucky to have him. Nobody's perfect, all right? I mean, if a certain game you take a pitcher out too soon or leave a guy in too long. My God, that baseball, nobody's perfect. I don't care if you're Casey Stengel, John McGraw, Miller Huggins, Tony La Russa. Happy birthday, Tony! 81 today, by the way, Tony La Russa. No, we are lucky to have this guy, a bilingual guy who has been the perfectly situated career, a auxiliary player who had his moments of success, knows what it's like to succeed, knows what it's like to languish on the bench, knows what it's like he gets the whole spectrum of what that experience was. And he's highly intelligent, and he's a people guy. And in the modern world, he can absorb the metrics without being overwhelmed by them, I think. So I think he's a 50-50 guy in today's game of analytics versus, weighing the eye test. I don't think he's sold himself out to analytics at all. But I think he's absorbed them. I think he's a wonderful manager. We're lucky to have him.
Well, we're very lucky to have him because you mentioned it. He's a people person. He can handle the front office. He has the clout. He has the resume. You mentioned the relationship with players, which is very important. In baseball, it's probably the most important element. And we've seen it. He can manage a team of, how would I describe it? He can manage a team like this, which doesn't have the big stars.
Yeah.
We've also seen him manage the big stars.
Absolutely. You're right.
That's very important. So I agree. I think that we're very lucky to have this guy. And the final question I have for you is, well, actually, I got two more for you. Breslow. Wrap up your thoughts on
Breslow. He talks, and when he's got done, you say, what did he say? And I'm not being facetious or condescending or anything like this. He's a Yalie. You see how he got into Yale. This is a very intelligent man who has chosen baseball. I mean, as opposed to, whatever, fill in the blank, anything in academia, business. He's a very bright guy who loves baseball and has devoted his life to it. And we're seeing more and more. I think he's being vindicated as time goes on. Okay, about some of his decisions. And I'm okay. Okay. I'm not waving the flag. I'm okay.
But here's the question now, Bob, and this is to wrap it up. For ownership, and we don't know the answer for this, so we're pontificating.
Yeah.
For ownership and the front office, is this good enough? Are we going to see this every year? Let's just get in and see what happens. Or are they going to take the next step and do what it takes to win a World Series?
See, this leads to my ongoing issue.
Right.
How much does John Henry really care?
Right.
And I'll go over it for the billionth time. It's never worth, you have to always keep it in mind. When he bought the team, he owned the Boston Red Sox and nothing else in sports of any consequence. Now, 20 years later, Fenway Sports Group is an international monster. They own one of the most important sport clubs in the world, Liverpool. They own the Pittsburgh Penguins. They are involved in golf. They're involved in everything. They're involved in betting. They're involved in, you name it. Okay. And you wonder, where the Red Sox are. They're just another piece of the portfolio until proven otherwise. So I don't know to what extent he would overspend. And when he came in, he's still, I believe he's still a baseball romantic. He saved Fenway Park, there's no question, no question. He invested a lot of money in maintaining and upgrading and try to bring Fenway Park as much as possible into the 21st century. He's done a great job with that, and he cared deeply in the beginning, and he's produced 4 championships. So, but I don't know the answer to that. So it's an open question. We have an open question in 2 of our primary franchises because the Celtics, we say Bill Chisholm's saying all the right things, but it's a very dicey financial world now in the sports, and maybe there was some reality one day will hit him in the face, and oh my God, I didn't realize it was this bad. You know what I mean? So whatever. Anyway, I don't know where John Henry's coming from, frankly, in that regard. Well, we don't know.
We shall see. But nonetheless, when the Red Sox are in the hunt in October or at the end of September, life is better.
It's absolutely. It's always good, and I just think that I, for one, will be very excited when March rolls around. I'm going to be interested in this team. I think they're giving us something to hope for. And, I'm not greedy. A lot of people, we all have to bring our own individual sensitivity to being a fan and our own realistic, our own expectations. And mine is I'm okay. I'm happy with them.
Bob, all we want is a reason to watch.
Yeah, I think things are looking up, and I don't see how anybody could deny that.
Bob Ryan, great job as always. Bob Ryan, Gary Tanguay, proud member of the CLNS Media Network. Show is brought to you by PrizePicks, North America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Download today. Use code CLNS to get $50 when you play 5. PrizePicks. Run your game.